hello, and welcome to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where you always come here first to quench your reality thirst, and we, and, we put the T in reality, period. I am Lana, your resident diva, here to give the tea, spill the tea, drink the tea, because you know I loves me some tea, period. And look, Brooke told me I look cute today, so I'm
You
gonna
do look.
flaunt
You look good
that.
today, Lonnie. You look good all the time. You look good all the time. You look great,
That's amazing, but I'm gonna flaunt it today because Brooke said I look cute today.
as you should. As you should.
Thank you.
And
Yeah,
I am Brooke, a college graduate, now in grad school as of Thursday.
love
But
that
I
for
am
you.
a college graduate who plays way too much Smash Bros. Although this past week I have been playing Axiom Verge 2. And shout outs to the purple marker that I just threw because it will be making many of appearances today. I know if I was ever on a reality show, I would be purpled, and I'm okay with that. So we just must acknowledge those people that will be inducted into the Purple Marker Club because, nobody else will if we don't.
Exactly, because see, this is the thing. I agree with you. I will probably be that purple person, and if I ever got on a TV show, I would be the person that like, oh, she got no edit and she's quite boring. Because you know what, I am, and that's fine. I'm okay with
You're
that.
not boring.
I love myself. I appreciate myself all in all of my boringness. I
On
appreciate
period.
that.
On period.
So, and that's that. So I'm excited to tell. We're talking about the Traitors today, everybody. Episodes 4, 5, and 6. This is where I feel it started to get really juicy and really good. And I was very much like, yeah, yeah,
The first three episodes was really the Brandy Glanville show.
exactly.
And you were getting a lot of Brandy just like driving the conversation, moving targets and everything. But now you're getting no Brandy because Brandy's gone. Brandy left at the
Brandy's
end of the last
gone.
episode. So now you have no Brandy. This is where we're starting to see the different traders' unique games come out. Because you have Sari, who's just playing this incredible social game. Cody, who's playing a more strategic-minded game. And then you have Christian, who's just... He's there.
Reckless.
Reckless.
He's reckless. He's
Reckless.
so reckless. I We'll talk about this in a future episode, but it's something that I just okay. Let's stick to episode 4 for right now, because this episode was quite unique, actually. Like we said, Brandy's gone. We don't have Brandy to drive the force of the conversations and the targets. Kate is
being
not
targeted
very
because of Notegate.
Notegate happened at the end of the episode. It was like Notegate was a thing, and once Notegate became a thing, that just put the biggest target on Kate for other reasons. For that reason alone, and then, like you said, we start seeing each of the traders in these episodes start playing not just for the traders but for themselves, and it was interesting to see that, and I love seeing it. So, starting off episode 4, we left with the traders trying to decide who they were going to murder. And Sari decided in that moment, she's like, hey, no, this wasn't the episode. I'm sorry, I'm about to jump ahead. But they're trying to decide who they were going to murder. And they were like, Kate would be the obvious choice, but we don't want to get rid of Kate because she's like a huge shield, and that it would be crazy not to get rid. It would be crazy to get rid of Kate at this moment. We can use the information that they learned from Notegate that Sari was just handed to on a silver platter by Stephanie. Just handed her this information and was like, we could go this route and plan on going down this list and
rid of either Shelby or Amanda.
And that will throw all the suspicion on Kate, which is a brilliant plan. But then
Christian has a decent idea. I'll be real.
It was decent.
Yeah, Christians. I think they're trying to do this thing where they have three possible targets every episode, so that way they have more editing nonsense they can do on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And Christian says we could vote out Azra. We can murder Azra because Azra and Kyle had this weird moment at the round table tonight. So we could get rid of Azra and make Kyle look suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
And also it gets rid of someone who most people consider to be easily effaceful. That's someone that no one's really acknowledging as a possible traitor. And in the moment, I'm like, that's not a terrible idea, but I feel like with all of the stuff they put up with Notegate, it's either going to be Shelby or Amanda.
That's what I thought.
Was that what you thought too?
Yeah, I was like, it's definitely going to be Shelby or Amanda. There's no way. Sure, it was a decent idea, and it's definitely worth thinking about. But I was like, clearly they're going to go with making Kate look like a bigger traitor, and every week she stays, everybody's going to believe she's even more so a traitor.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay. So I left that moment with the traitors thinking it was going to be Shelby or Amanda for sure.
I was specifically thinking Amanda because the episode before we had seen like this like it was like 30-second clip of Azra and Amanda leaving the conversation where everybody's talking about Michael and Michael was wrong about Geraldine, so we need to get Michael out. And Shelby and Amanda left and like, we don't want to be a part of this. And they're having a conversation. Like sometimes people are just really loud and we heard in edgewise. So I can trust her and she can trust me. So I was thinking, okay, well, they're building up this relationship between Azra and Amanda. So Amanda's going to leave and then Azra's going to get more of an edit. But
newsflash, plot twist. They killed Azra.
Well, first off, hold on. Wait, there it is. Purple Club for Azra.
Not a lot of edit.
You know, when I forget your name, I feel like that's a good indication. I was calling her Arza in my head after she got murdered.
I literally had to go back and see what her name was.
I feel bad because she seems like a really good person and she's quiet. But if you're on a reality show and you're quiet, recipe for purple. Yeah.
Yeah, her edit was not like good. It wasn't good. It was just non-existent. If she didn't say anything at that round table that last episode, she would have never got any edit at all. So
she got a baby Bam edit. Like, because at least Bam was barely there, but like Azra was really barely there. But yeah, Azra's murdered. And for some reason, that makes Stephanie even more suspicious of Kate. And I'm like,
what?
But Stephanie, you saw the note. You know her name wasn't on the note, right?
She wasn't on the list. Why are we suspicious? Like, I didn't get it.
If Stephanie would have said, oh, well, maybe Kate realized she lost the note, and they decided to shift their strategy or something like that, then I would have at least had like some idea of where she was going with this. But if you've watched Stephanie on Survivor before, you know she can get a little tunnel vision-y, a little one-track mind focused, and I think this might have been one of those times.
I was definitely one of those times. She was very much focused on Kate. Kate's a traitor. That's why Kate's here. That's why Kate's coming in. It's not going to be Kate. Like, even at breakfast, she was like, it's not going to be Kate because Kate's a traitor. Kate's going to be here. And when Kate walked in the door, she was like, see, I knew it. Kate's, of course, is going to be here. Nobody understood. Well, I won't say nobody. Ari understood why Azra was the one getting picked off.
Yep.
And literally was like, you know, the traitors are trying to throw people off their scent. And so they're using people who we wouldn't assume would be murdered or would be to raise suspicion to take it off of them. And it's so crazy because he's telling his plans to like Christian and Cody, and it's just like,
It was really interesting to me watching how the group reacted to this because you had Kate, who was Oh, is this when Kate started acting like she didn't want to be there anymore? Or was that next
Oh
episode?
yeah,
I think
it
that was the
was.
next episode.
Once Brandy was gone, she didn't want to be there anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's what she was telling everyone.
Yeah, that's what she was telling everybody. Then she
Yeah.
started acting that way in the next
Yeah.
episode.
We'll get to that in the barrel. But no, but you have Kate who's just checked out, pretty much does not care. And then you have other people that are summarily shocked. You have people like Amanda who kind of loses her cool a little bit. Angelica is someone that really we should probably talk about, because Angelica, I believe, is this the episode where Angelica cried at Azra? Was it Azra's boot that she cried?
Yes,
Azra's boot. But Angelica cried, and I'm like, who are you? You're on the show?
I did not remember her name until you just said it.
Well, I remember her later in the season because she gets a tiny bit of an edit for a little bit
because of twist, but yeah.
But then might as well go ahead and jump to the mission, because that's the next relevant part.
Yeah.
But before that, you have Angelica. I don't think she had any screen time before that. Like, at all.
No.
No, it might have been Angelica and Azra instead of Azra and Amanda, and I'm just.
It was Angelica and Azra.
Yeah, but
when they walked off, like, it's too many loud voices here. I can't.
Mm-hmm. But I do follow Angelica on Instagram now, because I saw her post some stuff on Twitter, and I found out that Angelica is cousins with Tommy Bracco from Big Brother 21.
God, that does not make her case any better. Oh my God. Okay. These reality people from Jersey and New York all seem to be related in somehow or fashion or another, which is insane. But
that's the point, folks. Yeah, she has a point. So we head to the mission, and I don't know if I've talked about this on the channel before on the pod. I'm a theme park nut. I think theme parks are some of the best things on the planet. And when I saw this beautiful little, like, CD carnival vibe when they stepped up to the mission, I was so excited.
You have not spoken about that, but I am glad you did, because I too am a theme park enthusiast. I love them. I love roller coasters with all of my heart and soul. Like, there's not a roller coaster built that I would not get on if I can get on it. So yeah. I love it. I love it. So yes, this theme was like, I'm here for it. Now, would I want to be attached to a wheel? No, because I'll throw up.
So
but
I'm one of those people that I would rather ride a roller coaster than a flat ride.
A spinny ride? No, thank you.
No. And you get, like, I would rather ride the tallest roller coaster in the world than, like, 100-foot tall drop tower. I just hate because one tiny thing goes wrong in the drop tower, dead. Something goes wrong in a roller coaster, there's probably some sort of safety precaution on it. So, like, when they stepped up and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna be attached to this, like, it was like 30-foot tall wheel, and you're gonna be spun, and then when you get to the top, you're gonna be upside down." I'm like, "No, ma'am." No.
My sister and I have very much, well, my sister even more so than me, has proven the fact that as much as we love roller coasters, get on every roller coaster under the sun, no matter how high, how fast, how tall, whatever.
Yeah.
Put us on a spinny ride. Blech.
Yeah.
Or one of those swinging pendulum rides. Yeah. Throwing up. It's just not good.
I could imagine that too.
But
on the plus side, though, they don't have to stay on it for very long. They only got to stay on it for 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yes.
And it's a bit of a twist on the Survivor Challenge touchy subjects. So there's going to be 5 people that are going to be randomly selected and put on this wheel. They get harnessed in. They're not just like there; they're harnessed in. And they're given those little, like, flip books that they have for the challenge on Survivor, where it's like, who would you trust with your life? And then you flip the book. But instead of trying to guess who the majority answered, the 5 people on the wheel are trying to match the rest of the group. The rest of the group is on the ground. They have this, like, big whiteboard. And every time somebody matches, they add a total of $300 per answer to the pot. So if all 5 people answered what the group answers, the group banks what's 5 times 3, 15, so $1,500.
$1,500.
Yeah.
Yes.
And there's no the maximum they can get on this challenge is 22K. So yeah, they're doing. They have as long as they can within a 5-minute period. So being as many questions as they can in a 5-minute period, up to $2,000. And when they were picking people for this wheel, right? What was your initial reaction to the thought of who was getting picked for this wheel?
For me, I was just like, well, with the edit, I was like, everybody who's saying, please don't let it be me, please don't let it be me, is pretty much going to be them.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping that we would see all 3 of the traitors on the wheel. We only saw 2 of them get on the wheel by the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Imagining Suri on that wheel just seems odd to me. I can't see her on the wheel in my head.
Queen of avoiding the wheel is Suri. I'm here for it because I would have wanted to be that queen.
I would have as well. So the big reason they're on the wheel though is if you stay on the wheel, you earn an extra $1,000 for the team. Mm-hmm. So if you stay on the wheel for the whole 5 minutes, that if everybody does, that's $5,000 per round. They'd have 2 rounds of this. So it's a pretty big task here, but the group was up to the challenge.
Yeah, they did.
So first round we had Andy, Angelica, Christian, Shelby, and Kate were the people that got picked to go on the wheel. And Andy does not want to be here.
No. Andy's like, this is the last thing I've ever wanted to do in my life is to get on a wheel and be spun around. No, thank you. And they were not happy. They were not happy. They were like, not me, not me. Oh. But they stayed on that wheel.
Mm-hmm. They low-key had a bit of a panic attack.
Low-key.
Which cannot blame them one bit. I would have also probably had a bit of a panic attack.
No.
But then you have Angelica, who again barely has an edit now because she cried at the table. Shelby, who actually has no edit as of right now. No. Christian, who's one of the traitors, and then the queen herself, Kate. Mm-hmm. So they're spinning on the wheel. The first couple questions are kind of softball questions. They're like, who's the most emotional? I'm like, oh, they're going to pick Kate. And then they all pick
Angelica. Everybody knew that because she was up there crying. Of course. I would have picked her too.
One time. Kate's been in like a bunch of fights. So I thought.
I mean, I don't think emotional is fighting. I wouldn't think of somebody being emotional as somebody who's in a fight. But the one who's sitting up there like, Azra's gone. And runs and leaves the table. Like, come on, girl. Yeah.
But you have. So they're all going to spin on the wheel, and they don't get to answer that many questions. I don't remember a lot of the questions that were asked, but grand total, they got 12 correct answers. I think they got 3 questions while they were on the wheel. So $3,600 from them, and then you got $5,000 for all of them staying on the wheel. Andy is losing their mind, but they finally get everybody off the wheel. And then round 2 happens, and this is the one that I feel like is probably more important to the overall game. So you get Amanda, no edit. You have Kyle and Ryan, who are like really good buddy bro friends at this point. You get Cody, one of the traitors, and then you get Michael, who has
there's a lot of controversy is Michael.
Mm-hmm. And it kind of felt a little targeted here.
You think?
I mean, okay, I understand why they wanted the money for the pot. And Michael was a very good sport about it.
Yes.
But I don't know if that makes it any better. Because you have Rachel, who has already said before that she doesn't like how people have been talking and treating Michael. And then the whole group just does it collectively. It did feel a little icky.
It was... I mean, I appreciate Michael for taking it like, just with a grain of salt. Like, I know how everybody sees me and what they're thinking, or even the people who didn't think that way about Michael, it was kind of like everybody's going to say Michael anyway, so we might as well go along with it. Um, and for him to go along with it, I was like, yeah, that was kind of cool. But yeah, I don't like the dog pile of it all. I don't like that every single question after a certain amount of questions were Michael, Michael. Michael's the most two faced. Michael is most less trustworthy. Michael was this. Michael was this, and it's just like
Mm-hmm. It
enough.
it felt like a little overkill to me.
Yeah,
But I mean, it did work out for them. They got,
they
I
got the
think they had,
money.
yeah, they got a lot of money. They only had five. They had five questions, which felt a bit weird. You would think they would do the same amount for both groups, but whatever. So the last group got $6,300 because they gave 21 out of a possible 25 correct answers. And everybody stayed on the wheel. So grand total on this challenge, they made $19,900. For a grand total so far of 94,900, and once again, the
The
mole.
mole could never.
Exactly.
The- I think we will say that every single week. The mole
Literally,
could never.
this is less than $5,000 out of the mole's prize pot now.
Right.
Like just $5,000 of the most prize pot for the entire season.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
It's
Netflix, you
insane.
don't have any money yet, bud.
That's true. That is true. But after the mission and making all of that money, go back to the house. Everybody's still trying to talk about. Notegate is still being brought up. Um, Michael is kind of like, I don't know who I want to go for. He's talking to Kyle, and he makes this comment where he says, I don't really know who, where I want to go, but I suspect Quentin possibly could be a traitor. And I'm like, huh, what? What? Hmm?
I
That
mean,
case?
it
I
was
mean,
weird because the only reason I could see is maybe the like, okay, he is the one that put Kate's name out there last round. So maybe because he's like starting conversations at the round table, that maybe that could be a reason. But at the same time, homie, what else do you have to go on off that? The round table is where you're supposed to bring up your suspicions to everyone.
not to mention the fact that Quentin was the one that was a big pro Michael person. Like, Michael
Yeah,
is not it. Michael is not a traitor. We need to chill off of Michael, and then for you to turn around and be like, but I suspect Quentin. It's like, oh, okay, interesting, interesting. And Kyle also found that very interesting because he's like, wait, what, dude? He was just on your side. He was like, I know, but I just think he could
yeah,
possibly be one. Now, this is my thing. I don't get upset when people suspect people because this is the game. I feel like you should suspect everybody to be a traitor at one point. At
correct.
some point in time, everybody could possibly be a traitor, even the most person that you feel the closest with or the most trustworthiest person you think. You could always say, also say, this person possibly could be a traitor. In my mind, I'll say that, yeah, everybody is possibly a traitor. I don't trust none of them until
Yeah,
never. I don't trust none of y'all. But
um, I don't trust anybody.
I don't trust any of you all. Like,
Yeah,
completely, fully, no, never.
even if
But
you're a trader with you at the round table, I still don't trust you.
right, because I don't trust you. It is what it is. So I'm not upset that he thought Quentin was a traitor because I think you're supposed to do that. It's just that I'm like, in his situation, having so many people flip on him and turn on him and think he's a traitor, to go and say that one of the people who have been openly supporting you, openly backing you, to say that they're traitors, kind of like,
It was
out
just really,
loud.
it was pretty. Um, but the other thing for me that happened before this that was really interesting was you have Ryan and Kyle are getting dinner at this like buffet style thing that had been set up for them,
Mm-hmm.
and they're talking to some. They're talking. I think it was Stephanie and Rachel were in there. They're talking. And they're like, we think there has to be at least one female traitor, and they're probably a celebrity,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then I think it was Kyle that was like, oh, it's Suri,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it was half joking, half serious. Um, but Stephanie and Rachel, because not only are they friends with Suri, but they all literally did Snake in the Grass like a month before the show filmed. Um, they tell Suri that Kyle and Ryan are talking about you, and they think you might be a traitor. And like Suri's like, "What the f?" Um, now this does not get brought up at the roundtable, but it will become relevant later on. So
Mm-hmm.
here's open.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But let's get to the round table because this is where this round table was pretty typical, I think, in a lot of ways because from previous roundtables we see who the people's target is most of the time. And some people are just like a dog with a bone. They are not letting go of who they feel like is the target. They feel like it's a traitor and they are like, zit. Like you are it. I know you are it. Kate is on Michael's neck. She will not let off of Michael. Quentin is not letting off of Kate. Michael is in return going wherever the wind blows. So it was Kate. He was gonna say Kate because of course, why not?
yeah. And the other thing that interests me though was Notegate was such a like big part of the episode, at least editing wise. Barely came up at the roundtable.
Hardly at
Stephanie,
all.
let's talk about this note I found. Brings up the note. Kate explains what the note was for.
And that's
No
it.
further discussion of Notegate at all.
It was like, hey, me and Brandy wrote stuff down, trying to figure stuff out. That's it. And they were like, oh, okay,
Brandy and
done.
I thought that these people could have been murdered. We were trying to figure out who's going to be the next person murdered, and these were the names we thought could have been it.
And that was it. Like, we take her at her word, and that's it.
Did you think that would happen
No,
but I was like, are you? I thought legitimately, I was feeling like Kate could have been on her way out at this round table at first, but then after they stopped bringing up Notegate, I'm like, she's staying. She's sticking around.
I mean, because like, who else would have had that kind of grace, you know, to say, "Oh, me and so wrote this note trying to see who was going to be next to be murdered. We were just trying to figure it out, and we wrote that down. And then, as we see, it didn't come to pass. So,
Do you think maybe because Brandy had already left, that helped her out a little bit?
yes,
That they knew Brandy wasn't faithful, but
yes,
um, the interesting part to me was when they were voting. Um, you had some traitor split here on this vote. Um, but I think that was actually smart because Cody voted for Geraldine the first time. All three of them voted for Geraldine the first round. But the second round, Cody voted for Michael instead of voting,
mm-hmm.
which Christian and Sari both voted for Brandy. I think that was a good play on them to kind of. I bet you they probably talked at some point. We just didn't see it in the edit. But they barely voted together for most of the season. Other three of them.
Which they
Um,
should never always vote together. I think.
but you get to the end of the table and votes are going around and they're talking to everybody. Sari and Christian both vote for Kate.
Mm-hmm.
So does Quentin, and Michael does too. But at the end of the day, Michael got banished.
Yeah, everybody's decided it was Michael. Kyle really had a big hand in Michael's demise. He was putting them out like, hey, you go, like, you fly with the wind in your decisions. I don't know whether to trust you or not. You were so gung ho about Geraldine. You're wrong. You know, you're talking about Brandy. You're gung ho with Brandy. She's gone and she was faithful, blah, blah, blah.
You also have him bring up, because Michael and Quentin have a moment here where Michael's like, regardless of what happens, I just want to say thank you, Quentin, for doing what you did. And
Mm-hmm.
Kyle throws him under the bus and backs right back underneath him with the same bus.
He
He's
was
like,
like,
did you not literally just have a conversation with me, said that you were suspicious of Quentin and you wanted to vote for him tonight?
and Michael was like, I said I had suspicions. I didn't say I'd vote for him. And
Mhm.
I was just like, oh,
Well,
Michael.
so he goes up to the front and goes into the circle of truth, and you have he's like, Kate, I'm sure you'll be happy to know.
That you were right.
Mhm.
And Amanda and everybody was like, woo, we got him. Yeah, we got him. And he was like, I'm a faithful, y'all.
It was so dumb, but I kind of appreciated the dumbness of the whole thing.
He was just like, I'm a faithful, y'all. And everybody was like, oh, no. Oh.
we
And that
we lose Michael,
was
who
his Michael.
it was. I mean, other than Brandy, I felt like Michael carried a lot of the first couple episodes here. Really like took the reins of the edit,
Mm-hmm.
possibly detrimentally to some people like Geraldine and Bam, who didn't really get any screen time before they went away. But at least we got a really interesting character who I definitely feel would be interesting to see playing on the other side of the fence.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, if they ever have like an all stars of the Traitors, again, we don't. The show hasn't even been renewed yet, so this is
Right.
very. But if they do ever have an all stars, I think Michael would be a really interesting pick to come back. Uh, just because I would love to see Michael play as a traitor. I think it would be so much fun.
I think he would be sussed out the second he get there.
I mean, if you're in a cast of all stars, though, let's be like 4 or 5 seasons down the line. You get people like Michael. You get people that you have played as traitors, like Suri back, because Suri would come again. You know. But you have all them here, and the people that have bigger personalities, maybe not. But
Maybe. Who knows?
but regardless, it's gone.
Yeah, Michael's gone. He's
Mm-hmm.
faithful, but he's gone. And so they all like, oh man. So then we go back to the Traitors turret, and they're talking. And this is where things get a little interesting. Because we talked about how Sari heard that Ryan, Kyle, were talking about her.
Mm-hmm.
And she also noticed how Buddy Ryan, Kyle, and Cody were
Mm-hmm.
being in the house at the carnival. Like they were broing it up. They were like, hey, bro. And so Serena's like, interesting. And
Most important, though, she thinks that Cody knows Ryan, and
yes,
that they know each other from outside the game, which I don't know if that's ever confirmed if they do or don't know each other. But
I mean, Cody was very adamant about not knowing him, but I don't know. There, Ryan was on Big Brother at one point, so Cody was on Big. That whole Big Brother alumni thing is a thing. I don't know if the celebrities get into that whole reality thing of it all, but Ryan was there, and they were rolling it up big time. So I could see why she felt that, or why she believed that they knew each other. But either way, if they did or didn't, she said they did. So in her mind, they did. And they were talking, and so Serena's like, I don't say much in these chats. I let them believe that every idea is their idea, and I just go along with it. She said, but I'm going to put my foot down on this one, and was like, let's get rid of Ryan if we so certain, you know, that if you're saying you don't know him, if this isn't a big deal. Because Cody was like, I get rid of Ryan just like that. It's no big deal for me. He's, whatever.
just blow up.
And she was like, we'll do it then. Let's do it. And he was kind of like, sure. And of course, Christian, trying to be the peacemaker, was like, let's not make us put up Ryan just to prove his innocence or whatever. If he if he know him or not, don't have him prove to us, yada yada. So it's like, that's my suggestion. What y'all got? So we left, trying to figure out who they're going to put up. Breakfast happens, and everybody comes in. Last person to come in is Kyle, And then Ryan was murdered. Cody folded to Cerie's plan,
As he
and
should.
as he should.
As we have mentioned on the first episode, if we were ever on a TV show with Cerie, we need to give her the best chance of making it to the end and winning. And I
Period.
really Cody for contributing to this this plan.
I agree because I mean Cerie Fields should win everything, and if I was on a show with Cerie Fields, I would do everything in my power to make sure she wins, even at the detriment of my own game, because I love her that much. But
So,
Ryan's murdered. Everybody's shocked. Everybody's like, "What? Not the heart and soul of the game, Ryan."
and I'm like, homie, you're talking about a guy who lied about being attacked at the Olympics. I don't know if he got heart and soul, but heart maybe, soul.
I
don't know about that.
mean, he swims fast. Good for him, but I ain't finna be crying over no Ryan Lochte. I don't know that. I don't know him.
I will say this show did make me appreciate the entertainment value that Ryan Lochte can bring to certain stuff, because he was moderately entertaining. He was kind of funny. He didn't really do much in terms of the game, but I did love the whole "I want to look for a secret door" mess. And
They brought. There is a secret door. There really is a secret door.
Now, one episode before the secret door. That's gotta suck.
I gotta sting.
But so we lose Ryan. But the interesting part happens right after breakfast. So Cody comes to Kyle, and he's like, "Yeah, Ryan told me last night, right before he went to bed, that he was suspicious of X, Y, and Z. I don't remember who the people he said were.
I think one of them was Kyle. It was Kyle, Ari, and Rachel.
Yes. Sure, I don't remember, but sure. Sounds great. And Kyle's like, "Oh, you're a traitor. 100%.
100%. Ryan would never. Ryan would never say something like that to you. You're a traitor. 100%. Got you. Cody, hey, you're in my sights." That was Kyle. By Kyle impression.
But before we get to the next band, we have a mission. And this is probably the only mission this season I really didn't like. Maybe that's just me, but I had issues with it from like a design. Felt a bit weird to me. Because, okay, so the task is they're at like a church, right? And there's this whole like congregation of people with these weird face masks on, so you can't really see who they are. But the important thing is each of them have like different icons and clothing and accessories and whatever to distinguish them outside of their faces. So it's a Catholic church, and the only reason I bring that up is because they go to the back. Alan confession booth, right? Like where the normally like the priest would sit in the confession booth. And each group, they get split up into two teams. The teams don't really matter here as much. You have Amanda, Christian, Quentin, Shelby, Cerie, and Stephanie on one team. The other team, you have everybody else. So Rachel, Angelica, Cody, Ari, Andy, and Kate are on the team. And they get told a riddle, right? Or like the location of a riddle in this book, not a Bible. In this book, it's like paragraph, whatever, line, whatever.
Right.
And that person has to run back to their group, tell them what paragraph it is. They look at the riddle, and then they have to find the person who in the congregation matches the riddle to find this like piece of gold, right? And each piece of gold was just $5,000, and the first team, and they had 4 rounds. They only got one guess too. That was like tricky part with the wrong person. If both teams picked the wrong person, that's just waste money. But here was a weird thing to me. Why was this not the episode where they included the armory? Because it was weird to me that you have teams essentially competing, right? because you have Team 2 is getting irritated because Team 1's just like sweeping it. Team 2's getting like, oh, this sucks. We're not contributing to the pot. And I'm like the money's still going in the shared pot. There's no reason to really be mad about them getting it over you. It's almost like you just have two chances.
Right.
Did that feel weird to you? That felt really awkward to me.
I mean, this whole situation, this whole challenge felt weird to me because I was weirded out by the church, the being in that church with those masks. Not that I'm scared of church. I go to church every Sunday. I'm not weirded out by church. I'm weirded out.
Happy for you. Cannot.
Yeah, it was the gold mask getting in the church, how they were sitting like very. It was weird, but I do agree. I think the armory should have been used this episode because like you have teams of 2. And I think when you do those teams like that, the way they have been doing it after that, they had a chance to go into the armory. And it was like, why not do that for this? But maybe it was one too many people, or I don't know.
The big reason they couldn't was because the next episode, when they have to put the people on trial instead of murder someone.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Don't have to tell them that. Or you could also give them a power if they go to the like, hey, if you win this, you have this like thing to not be banished tonight or something like that. Like you're safe from banishment.
Right.
Like armory doesn't always have to be a shield from a murder. Else or like weapon of some sort.
Yeah.
But it was weird, but they did get all 4 points. Team 1
Team 1, oh my god, Team 1 like demolished and mollywop Team 2. Like what were they thinking? That was insane.
Well, that Suri was the person they had in the booth and then going back. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fine. But Suri is also very well known for her powers of observation. And I was like, you're kind of wasting Suri here a little bit. But I mean, it worked out for them. They got all the points. But they also had like less cooks in the person that might have confused some stuff. But nope, everything. So they got another 20 spot, which is always delightful. And once again, the mole could never. They're at 115K after this. Technically, it's 114.9, but at the round table, Alan bumps it up by $100.
Yeah.
So $50,000. They are officially past the jackpot of the mole. And once again.
Okay, I'm going to say you are lagging again. So yes, and going in and out. So now I'll let you go out and come back in, and I'll continue to talk. So yeah, we have the jackpot, like it says, 118 now because Alan bumps it up, and Sneaky Dance is perfect on fleek. Good. So yeah, after that, like I said, Team 1, please, no question how they handle that. $119,000, Mo could never. And we go back to the house, and everybody's still just milling around trying to figure out who's going to get banished tonight because everybody has these suspicions on different people. It's not as like the round before, it was pretty much people know Michael was going to get names, his name out there. Kate was going to get, but this time everybody's kind of like Kate. Possibly, I think Kate's name is going to always be brought up for Notegate and all kind of other things. But it wasn't set on who people. Well, for Kyle was on the mission though. He was definitely trying to take Cody down this round.
Yeah,
he was going after Cody because he believed Cody is a traitor 100%.
Well, you also have, I believe this is the episode where the Rachel and Kate feud starts.
Yeah, it starts. Yes,
it starts. It doesn't heat up yet.
This is where but it definitely starts.
Start picking each other because Kate's kind of saying in her confessional, she's like, Rachel's annoying.
Just so
every time she talks, I just want to smack her. Like, and I'm like, oh, Oh.
She's just like, I don't like her. She's gets on my nerves. It's just
Mm-hmm.
and Rachel is not. There's no love lost for Rachel and Kate. Rachel is not feeling Kate. She's just like, I just don't trust her. I don't like her. I don't feel like she's, you know. But Rachel is the kind of see. This is what I like about Rachel, and then this is what I don't like about Rachel. I like the fact that Rachel is very much like try to be very respectful of people. Very, you know, I don't want to talk bad about people. I don't really, you know. She plays that I don't want to bully people. I don't like bullying anybody.
Anymore.
I'm anymore because she learned her lessons. And
Homie,
Big
we all
Brother,
watched Big Brother 12. We all
she
saw Big
learned
Brother 12.
she learned her lesson. But then in that same aspect, she turns around and she's like, I'm not bullying it, but then she plays the victim a lot. So it's kind of
Mhm.
like, how could you do that to me? And da da da. I don't like that part of Rachel. I like the fact that she's kind of like, I'm not going to verbally just be out rude to you unless you're rude to me. And even then, I'm going to be nice, nasty about it, is what I like to
Um,
call it.
I feel like I have a very similar approach to games that Rachel does. Um, I try to kind of like lay low, stay under the radar, but if somebody decides to come after me, I go after them with everything in my being. I will kill my own game to sink yours at the same time. And I feel like Rachel's very similar in that way. At least that's
Mm-hmm.
how she comes off because, again, Big Brother 12, it happened. Here it happens later on. Talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you get Rachel and Kate. The first little seeds of that feud start up here. Um, but then you have Kyle, who
Mm-hmm.
is being like, "Yo, Cody said some stuff, and I know it's not true, and I would wonder why he would lie to me. And the only reason I think he would lie to me is that he's a traitor."
Mm-hmm.
And first off, great read,
Mm-hmm.
fantastic read from Kyle,
Mm-hmm.
but he went about it in the wrong way.
Very much so.
Yeah.
He turned into he gave off traitor suspicions more than Cody gave off traitor suspicions. Like he went to he tried to go into people and was like he went to Andy and was like, "Hey, Cody's acting weird, right? What you think?" And Andy's like, "Sure, I guess. You know, I
Mhm.
don't know. I think he has
Yeah.
some." He was just really aggressive about telling people
Mm-hmm.
that this is Cody and da da da. And he just was his whole demeanor kind of changed, and that freaked people out because it's like, why are you all of a sudden going so hard against Cody when you and Cody were like homies not but a week ago, not even a couple of days ago, you know? So it was kind of weird. Like he just handled, like you said, he handled it all wrong. Great read. He was absolutely right, but he just didn't go about it. And then he didn't do it in enough time to actually persuade people
Absolutely.
to go the way he wanted to go. So it was kind of interesting. Um, but at the round table, he went after Cody. He went after Cody hard. He
Mm-hmm.
was like, he said this, and he was like, he threw out my name, Ari's name, and Rachel's name, saying that's who Ryan said, who he didn't trust. And Rachel's like, what? What did I do?
Mm-hmm.
So now Rachel's like looking at Cody like, why would you? Which, by the way, if you remember the first episode, Rachel clocked Cody from the very beginning as being a traitor.
She's
And
like,
but
"Yeah,
was
I know he's a
I
traitor.
know he's a traitor, but
He's
he's
not
a
gonna
traitor
murder
on
me."
my side. He's not
Yeah.
afraid. He's not coming after me yet. And so then when he did, and she's like, "What did I do?" So it's kind of crazy. Um,
But then it kind of turns into a battle between Kate and Kyle. You have people that are like, "Look, Kate, we still think you're a traitor."
mhm.
Um, most specifically, you have Rachel
Quentin,
going after
yeah.
Kate. Which this is really when the feud kicks into gear. You have Rachel being like, "Look, Kate, I still think you're a traitor. I still don't trust you." Kate's kind of likely defending herself, not really, not very much.
Mm-mm.
Um, Rachel and Stephanie are going at it together. Amanda's kind of there, but like doesn't really say much about it. Um, And then the vote happens. And when you see somebody have a smug look on the Traitors, do you not want to kind of like take them down a peg? Because this is when the first time all season I have looked Cody Calafiori in the face and wanted to smack him. It was this moment. It was this moment, buddy. That winner's circle pod really needs to get its name changed. Is all I'm gonna say after this moment. We're a little extra here. You were not acting like a winner. But you get a very interesting vote, in my opinion. Did you think Kyle was going here?
I thought it was definitely. I honestly thought Cody had a chance of going.
So did I.
I didn't think it was going to be as far away from Cody as it was. I thought he would get his name written down more than he did.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we always knew Kate was going to get some names because Rachel stuck on it, Quentin stuck on it, and it's just like we just knew certain people were going to vote for Kate. But I thought for sure it was going to come down more closely to Kyle and Cody.
So, the interesting thing to me, though, speaking of Quentin voting for Kate, I want to keep track of this. There have been 4 roundtables, right? Mm-hmm. And out of those 4 roundtables, Quentin has voted for Kate twice. Did not vote for Kate at this roundtable, surprisingly, which I look back at that, I'm like, really? I forgot about that.
Oh, I thought he did.
No, he voted for Kyle. Yeah, so vote was 9-4. The only people that voted for Kate were Amanda, Kyle, Rachel, and Stephanie. Everybody else voted for Kyle. But this is when the game kind of gets a little sideways for me. So Kyle goes up to the front, reveals that the faithful, the group is once again in their feels about it. And before we go to the turret, we get Alan outside, and he's like, the faithful have been dealt yet another blow. And I thought it was like the outgoing exposition first. And it's like, and now they will receive another. And I'm like, okay, yeah, somebody's about to get murdered. Sounds about right.
All right.
And then he goes, Amanda has had to leave the game due to an urgent personal matter. Still don't know what it is.
We don't know what it was.
Thing about it. Have you seen anything about it?
No. Don't know.
All I'm gonna say is Amanda. And bye. I hope whatever your urgent personal matter was, that it was like something that turned out okay. Because when I hear urgent personal matter, I get like Terry Dietz in Cambodia flashback.
Oh, yeah.
I just hope everything works out. I end up watching this at some point, but
yeah, well, we'll figure it out. But Amanda's gone, so nobody was murdered. We didn't get a murder, but we go into the turret, and then they're getting ready to discuss what they're going to do. Then there's a knock at the door, and they like, what? Alan comes in, and he's like, it's time to shake up this game a little bit. He said somebody is going to go on trial. Well, 3 somebodies are going to go on trial. And you have to pick who's going to go on trial. And out of those 3 people, one of them will be eliminated, murdered coming up tomorrow night. Right. So it's like, okay. So
the people they pick, I agreed with 2 of the decisions. The third one felt kind of random to me. I think it made a lot of sense for them to pick Kate. Obviously, Kate has been a target from day one, and whatever. Then they pick Rachel. I'm like, yeah, Rachel and Kate are fighting. It'll put them more at odds with each other. That sounds great. Then they pick Angelica, which
makes sense. It made sense to me.
It made sense after they explained it, but in the moment, I'm like, okay.
I mean,
if it were me, I would have put Stephanie instead of Angelica, just to like further that whole Rachel and Stephanie versus Kate thing. That
I would not have done that because, especially being Cerie, I definitely would have put them all three in there. You don't want to put Stephanie, Rachel, and Kate, all the three female celebrities, in here and not Cerie. Like,
yeah.
why would they not pick Cerie? Is she the I don't want all the eyes looking at me
Mhm.
of being this, one of the traitors. So I probably would have not gone that way either. I think Angelica was a great choice because she was very much non comfort, like she wasn't involved in anything.
She was
She
just
had
playing around with that bone.
right. She literally was having. She was a step away from being very very purple in this game as well. But
I think the
this
only
gave her a little bit of a. She went from dark purple to like lilac. She wasn't purple. She was okay. Pink is great. I still think she's still a shade of purple. Maybe like a lilac or
like a
very light
lavender.
purple, a lavender, very light
Yeah,
purple.
yeah. But the interesting part about me was you have people come in, and I think the editors did something really neat here, and I think it actually helped the traders out a little bit. What they had been doing was they have the people the traders picked, like three people. One of them would come in, and it would always be down to two of the other people, like the last two people. So all the traders were in there before the end part. The interesting thing was the last person in her breakfast today, before the last person, like the second to last person, was it was down between a traitor. It was Cody and somebody else. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and they had Cody come in after the fact, right? So everybody thought Cody was murdered for a minute, and
Uh
then
huh.
Cody comes in like, oh, yeah, there wasn't a murder. Um, which I think that did kind of help the traders a little bit. For as simple as I think it was, but you
Yeah.
have then you have Alex come in,
Alex is
but
like, y'all know Amanda's gone
mm-hmm.
because for personal reasons, and he said, but somebody's is going on trial, and everybody's like, what? What's a trial? What? What is happening? And he names off the people who are going on trial: Kate, Angelica, and Rachel. And of course, Angelica's like, what did I do?
Yeah,
What did I do? Girl, you don't
standard
stop.
Angelica ish that we have come to know and hate. Um,
Uh,
I don't really dislike Angelica. I just don't like the way she was edited here. Um, and I understand that to a degree. You have to, you know, edit people so that way they fit the narrative that you're trying to spin better. But I do feel like Angelica kind of did get dirty, get done dirty a little bit here. Um, sure, she's emotional, but a lot of like the game we do see her play was very smart. The minimal amount of game we see her play is very smart.
very minimal.
She's trying to skate under the radar. She's not pushing
Mm-hmm.
anybody to the round table. She's just kind of going with the majority. Um, well, trying to. She voted for Michael all 3 rounds until Michael went home. But yeah. So
Yeah,
we go to the mission.
the mission.
This is the best mission they have on the show. This is the best thing.
I have to agree with you.
So they have to get from the castle where they're staying at all the way to this distillery with these barrels of whiskey, right? Uh, now, you're like, barrels of whiskey? Those are a little bit heavy. Yeah, they got to roll them up, downhill, across a freaking river. Um, but the important part is there are different amounts that these barrels are worth. So there are these tiny ones that are like the size of a Coke can. That some people are carrying like 4 or 5 of them that are worth like $600,000,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Then you have these slightly bigger ones, and then at the very end there is a massive, huge barrel
Huge.
that is like I think they said 20 feet
10.
tall, and I'm
Yes.
like, no, man, I would have been Kate in this mission out the from the jump. I don't care about that plot.
Oh, and they also had 3 barrels that were armory barrels. And this is where we get introduced to the armory. And if the 3 armory barrels crosses the finish line, the 3 people get to go into the armory to try to win a shield,
Mm-hmm.
and the shield is like immunity idol. So they're trying to win the shield, but all 3
Mm-hmm.
had to make it across for anybody to go into this armory.
Correct. If and the interesting part was, again, only 3 people are eligible to be murdered, because that's the only
Mm-hmm.
time that shield works. Is if you don't, it doesn't matter during the banishment. It's just the murder. So
Mm-hmm.
in my head, I'm like, okay, yeah, if you're one of the 3 people, yeah, you should fight for those armory barrels, and 2 of
Right.
them do.
Yeah.
Then there is the highlight of this episode for me, arguably the series. Kate Chastain just living her best life. You have Kate, who is actively telling people she does not want to be in the game anymore,
She
saying
wants to
that
go.
if they kill me, they kill me. I don't care. Um,
Banish me, please.
please
Like,
banish me. Uh, but you have, and then so you have Angelica and Rachel who find these armory barrels and they're pushing them, and they stumble upon the third one, and they're like, Kate, drop those like $600 barrels. She's got like these like $600 like little can koozie barrels, and she's like, no, I'm good, and she just keeps going on, and I'm like,
it's so, and like Rachel and Angelica are like, we really want these barrels. Come on. And Cody like, look, we are not dropping no money just to get these armory barrels. If you want the armor, you get it yourself. And
mhm.
Rachel was like, fine, I'll get it myself.
So
And her and Angelica are going after these barrels while everybody else is trying to get money.
somebody else ends up pushing one of the barrels. They're going, and then Kate has these like $600 barrels, and she has 4 of them, right? 4 little Coke cans, basically. And
Mhm.
then she grabs 2 of them and just goes, yeet, and just leaves them behind. And she knows no one is going to go back for them because they're not worth enough money. But at the end of the day, it was like a little bit of like quiet rebellion of just like,
And not only was she eating them, like secretly eating, she was walking in front of people and was like, what? In front of everybody. They're like, hey, you just dropped. She was like, sue me. Like, whatever.
what are
I
you
don't
going to
want
do?
it.
You going to
What's she
banish me?
gonna
I
do? You
want that.
banish me? Please do. I'm trying to get you to do that. And it's just insane. And I'm like living in this moment for Kate.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, if you go be the villain, be the best villain that you possibly could be. And she was giving me everything you want in the villain edit, even though I don't think she was a villain, because I'm like, honestly, I probably would have did the same thing.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
if I don't want to be somewhere and I don't want to be there, I'm not going to bust my butt and tire myself out
Mm-hmm.
for money
Mm-hmm.
for money that I know I'm not going to win, because they're literally letting the traitors run away with this whole thing at this point. So it's kind of like crazy. I'm not gonna go out of my way to add money to this pot. I'm not just gonna do that. So I agree with Kate. I was like, I'm here for this. I've lived for this. I would have done that same thing,
So
especially when it came to that big old, big old, big old barrel in the end.
yeah, that
No, thank you.
$10,000 barrel. No. Mm-mm.
No,
No.
thank you.
But they eventually get to the end where the little distillery's at. They drop off their barrels. They did get all 3 of the armory barrels, which
Hmm.
and they also get an additional $16,800 at spot grand total. Would have been more if Kate would have carried the rest of those barrels, but quite frankly, it was more entertaining for her to throw them. So whatever.
And have we said it enough? But the mole can never.
The mole never. They made $131,800 so far. Once again, the mole could
The
never.
mole can never.
Their mole could never. But the interesting part was after it, they get to pick the 3 people who get to go to the armory. And Rachel and Angelica are like, us please. And they're like, Kate, do you want to go? And she's like, no.
No.
No,
It was funny because Stephanie was like, "Not Kate,"
not
and
Kate. Yeah.
Kate was like, "I don't want to go anyway." So no,
And then Ari's just like, I'll do it, sure. So that it ends up being Rachel, Angelica, and Ari. Um, and we see them
Ari
go to the armor.
goes into this secret door that Ryan was looking for.
It's in the
Oh,
library. It's behind a bookshelf, and it was really neat. Ryan. I do sincerely apologize that you did not get to revision come to pass.
I
Uh,
hate that for him because I think he was in that room
he was.
and he was almost that very close to finding the
Yeah.
secret door. But
So you have, was it Rachel that went first? Rachel goes
Rachel
up
went
there.
first,
She goes up,
nothing.
opens the thing. Nope, empty chest. Angelica goes in there, opens it
Nope.
up, empty chest. Ari goes in there. There's only one chest left, so he just gets it by default. And one person out of the three who did not need the shield got the shield.
Got the shield.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy, but it is what it is. He got it. Great. Didn't need it, but he got it anyway. But so really, not a lot happens till we get to the round table. Honestly,
Honestly, it's very true. I think they wanted to spend more time on the barrels, which
yeah,
I completely
I
understand.
appreciate. It was
Um,
fine. Oh,
but the
what
important
the?
part that happens at the round table is you have the Cody and Rachel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, why do we have the Moldova background?
I have no idea why that even came up. Like weird. Okay, but we're
Yeah.
switching back. We switch back.
Hashtag watch the Eurovision videos.
Period. That was that. That was our commercial break.
Yep. Commercial break.
What?
Watch the Eurovision
What?
pods. I'm guessing they just recorded the one on Moldova. It hasn't been
I,
published as of recording. Maybe it has, and I just haven't watched it. But,
but back to Traitors.
um, so everybody's like, "Yo, Cody, you're being sus, like really sus." And you have people are openly targeting Cody before the round table. People are like, "Look, you kind of got called out by Kyle. Still hasn't been given a reasonable response for why you said that because you didn't deny saying it. And if you didn't say it, cool, but you didn't say that, so we need to know."
Right.
Um,
At this point, too, we see Christian and Sari finally get a moment to go talk, and they're like, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Because this is getting out of hand. This is real crazy." And I brought Christian being reckless up at the beginning for this reason only because I personally thought this was the treatment going to go to him first.
yes,
I really thought the conversation was going to be Sari and Cody like, yo, dude is getting out of hand.
yeah,
And it might be time to do something about it.
yeah. And I also love how Christian is like, "I'm gonna vote for Cody. I don't know what you're doing, but I'm doing it. So
Right.
you need to figure it out, Suri." And I'm there like, you're telling Suri
Sari
Fields that she needs to figure this out. Okay.
like she wasn't already 2 steps ahead of you, but okay.
Two.
Maybe 5.
Like,
Maybe 10.
like
Yeah.
everyone loves Suri. I don't know anyone who doesn't think you're annoying, Christian, but okay. So we get to the round table, and you have Cody and Rachel are going at each other hard. Cody's like, "Rachel, why are you going after Kate so much?" Oh, the breakfast moment. We forgot to talk about the breakfast moment with Rachel and Kate. So
I meant to read it out.
At breakfast this morning, before they got revealed who was on trial, they're talking and they're like, "Do you think anyone's going to get murdered because Amanda left?" And I don't remember the exact words, but like Rachel's like, Kate kind of reads Rachel, and she's like, "I wouldn't pick that outfit, but I don't know."
She's like, "I'm not a traitor, but because I wouldn't have picked that outfit," something like that. I was just like, "Oh."
And then Rachel's like, "Oh, so you're making fun of
my outfit?" And she was like, "Yes." And then Rachel's like, "I wouldn't have picked that ugly sweater you're wearing." She was like, Lady Diana would have something to say because she wore the exact same sweater. I was like, I mean, Are
But
we?
so we back to the round table. Apologize.
Yes.
Important part here is
Sorry, we had to jump back because that read was funny.
it was great. So Rachel and Kate are still going after each other. But Rachel and Cody are going at it pretty hard and heavy, and votes start coming. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like Andy votes for Cody. Okay, expected that. And then Kate votes for Rachel, and so on and so forth. And then it gets Christian. It's pretty even at this point. I think it's like 3-3. It gets Christian. Christian votes for Cody. Right?
Yeah, Cody's looking at him like, whoa. Oh, it's like that.
And then Suri, she gets that piece of paper, she writes it down, and as the deciding vote, 3 votes banishes Cody Calafury from this game. This is
I
the most
wanted to do a summer.
satisfying that has happened to me in reality TV since Taylor Hale won Big Brother 24. Like perfect.
When I tell you that moment was one of the best moments of this series for me because like you said, last episode and that smug look on Cody's face when Kyle was getting banished, I was kind of like, ugh, you, ew.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
yeah,
there is one thing that Cody mentioned when he was talking about Christian. He was like, Christian seems like he really enjoys this. Like he likes taking money away from people and stuff. Suri and I think this is a lot harder than doing it and all this other stuff. I'm like, homie, let's not act like you didn't do that 2 times on Big Brother before this. Right? Like,
but
you have experience behaving this way. This is not new to you.
and see, that's what it was. That was the part I was like, Cody had to play this game much different
Mm-hmm.
because people already sees him as somebody who can lie to people, manipulate people, because that's what they do on Big Brother all the time. That's the name of the game, and he is always number one suspect for somebody who can lie, somebody who can manipulate, somebody who can be a traitor at this point. And when he said what he said to Kyle after Ryan left, he knew the second he said it, he messed up. Like he he knew the second he said, because people already looking at you. So it's
But
like
we have discovered this thing with Cody. Okay, if he has the opportunity to pregame, he is great. He either has to ride someone's coattails or be. That is what we have discovered through the season.
like I say, that man is not a winner, like authentic winner, because he only won 22 because of the pre-gaming he did. And because
Gaming that was
Derek
arranged for him by Derek Bavasser.
by Derek, who
Yeah,
gave him the person who he rode the coattails in season 16.
correct.
So like that man does not know if he didn't have anything on his own, this is what we get. If he played Big Brother with anybody that Derek was not involved in that game, he would have been gone a long time ago. Like he wouldn't have made it to the final 2.
And the really interesting part for me was everybody's voting. It's between Cody and Rachel, and then you have Quentin
Mm-hmm.
randomly voting for Kate for
I mean,
some reason. So, right now, this is Quentin's third vote for Kate.
what?
Will rise. Fun fact. But we're at the halfway episode 6. Are you moving, Lana?
Hmm? Wait, you break it up. I can't hear you.
There's a little bit of background coming.
Yes, my sister's leaving. She had her phone on.
But I just want to make sure it wasn't me.
No, it wasn't. I couldn't hear you because you started breaking up anyway. So, but it's okay.
Is the snaky dance still doing?
You're still good.
Sounds great.
Just a little breaking up for time.
So we get Cody up to the circle, and Cody standing there, and he's like rambling for a minute, being dramatic, and then he goes, "I'm a traitor." The room erupts in happiness.
Yes, we got out a traitor.
It took you long enough.
Right.
um,
It's so crazy. But this was the exact cover that was perfect for Sari and for Christian because they were both like, hey, we voted for Cody. If we were traitors, why would we vote out another traitor?
yeah. And it's gonna be relevant when we talk about episodes 8 tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Next time we film. Episode 7. Excuse me. 3 people voted for Rachel: Cody, Kate, and Shelby.
Mm-hmm.
Kate, we expected. They've been fighting. No one cared. Shelby voting for Rachel becomes an issue in the next episode, and we'll see how that breaks down when we get to it. But you have
Yes.
pictures by that Christian and Marie now head up to the turret, and they're like, "We're not murdering Kate."
We
So
can't murder Kate.
yeah,
So that
so
was that.
either Rachel or Angelica,
Yeah.
and where the episode ends.
That's what the episode is. So you have to come back to talk to us or talk with us on the next time we are here talking about episode 7, 8, and 9. And
We might throw in 10, depending on how we're feeling that day.
yeah, I mean, 10 is the last episode. So we
Yeah.
might throw in 10, but 7, 8, and 9 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so far at this point, I'm like, very much invested in this show. It's just like, oh my gosh, I can't stop watching. I could not stop watching. I literally watched this whole series in one setting
Mood.
because it was just like it was just that intriguing to me. Now, uh I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I was very satisfied with Cody leaving.
I was
Very much
um
very satisfied. I don't think we're going to pull out the purple pin again because I feel like everybody else thus far, well, maybe one
one
more.
more time. Yeah.
One more time.
Well,
Maybe one more time.
I would
But
argue possibly 2, because
okay,
there are 2 people I would arguably pull out the purple pin for. We'll see. We will
we'll
see
see.
when we get to them. But everybody at this point, we're down to 10. We are officially
Mhm.
halfway past. Um, you know, you have a lot of interesting people left. You have people that are playing really quiet games like Ian Quentin, uh,
Mhm.
arguably Shelby. You have people that are playing really loud, open like Rachel and Kate. Uh, to a lesser extent, Stephanie. You have Sari, who is playing such an amazing social game. You have Christian being reckless as heck. You have Angelica just kind of vibing. Um, and then you have Ari, who hasn't really done much as of yet, other than get the shield. Pretty soon that's going to change, though. But we'll wait till the next episode.
Yes. But that's it for us right now, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Make sure
it
to follow us at Twitter at @thecup_reality, where you get all your updates and casting stuff. Just talking about stuff. If you enjoy the Traitors and you see this in the next little bit, feel free to hit either Lana or myself up on Twitter, or even the Cup on Twitter, and we would be glad to talk about the Traitors as well.
we would love to have you and all of our shows that we talk about here on the cup. We have Drag Race everything. We have Eurovision, as you saw our commercial. We have Survivor Australia coming up.
I know,
Um,
more needed.
and we have a lot other shows coming up in the coming months and days or whatever. So anytime, or if you have a show that we don't cover that you would like to get covered, hit us up, let us know what that is, and we'll see what we can do about it. And that's about it, folks. We've had a blast talking about the Traitors
Mm-hmm.
today, and we'll continue to talk about them next week. And that's it. I'm done. You're done. You got your heart's mind clear.
Mm-hmm.
Mine's clear.
Let's go church.
It was good. I enjoyed. So yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody. Cheers to you.
Have a cup of
Cheers. No cup.
Okay,
Okay,
I'll do it.
it's a.
Cheers, much.
All right, that's okay. Cheers, cheers, cheers. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Toodles.
Bye. Toodles. Share, follow, and like.
Put that shield on before you get murdered.